Okay, so before we start the music, why don't you just come into a nice, comfortable seated position tonight? If you want to lie down, you totally can, but I'll invite you to find a pillow or a blanket or something like that to sit on. We'll be sitting upright for just a couple minutes at the beginning here, so I highly suggest sitting on something to really elevate your hips above your knees a little bit. And really stack your spine here and feel yourself grounding down into the earth with your sits bones. And I'm gonna start my playlist now, so anyone that's listening along can start theirs as well. And just flag me down or something, give me a wave if it's like too weird sounding in the background. I'm gonna keep it pretty low in the background. Okay. All right, so from your seated position, just start to settle in. Letting go of your day. Letting go of any stress, any worry, anything it took you to get here and to be able to be present here tonight. I'm happy you're joining me. And just let go of any of those stressors. And maybe you begin to close your eyes and settle into the here and now. Let's start with a body scan. Just bringing your mind's eye to each part of your body. Noticing if you're carrying any unwanted tension or tightness. And just encouraging your body to let go a bit. Maybe you feel your shoulders softening away from your ears. The lines on your forehead smoothing out. Your jaw releasing. Your mouth settling. Even your tongue peeling away from the roof of your mouth. Bring an easiness to your breath, making it nice and smooth. And for this practice, I'll really invite you to go inward and to practice some self-study. That's one of the niyamas in yoga. The niyamas are these personal practices that really relate to the health of our own spiritual life. Self-study can be really beneficial to bring us inner peace. Starting to lengthen your breath now, take a big inhalation through your nose. Feel your breath moving down into your low belly, expanding your rib cage and filling up your heart. And then send that breath out your mouth. One more big inhalation through the nose. And exhaling it out through your mouth. Doing 2 more rounds just like that, moving at your own pace. Watching your breath as it lifts and falls. And on your next inhalation, maybe you flutter open your eyes if they've been closed. And we'll rise our arms up above our head, bringing our palms to touch. And on the exhale, we'll bring our hands to our heart. Inhale, arms rise. And exhale, hands come to our heart. Inhale, arms rise. And on your exhalation, dropping your right arm down to the earth, really extending your left arm up nice and high. Breathing here for a moment, keeping your shoulders relaxed. One more breath in, and then sink into that right side body. Feel your hip, your left hip, really holding you down, connecting you to the earth. Maybe you walk your right hand out a bit as you continue to lower. One more big breath in. Stay for the exhale. And on your next inhale, sweep that left hand in front of you. Left arm plants, right arm comes up and over. And we bend now into the left side body. Feeling your right side body really expanding and opening as the left side body condenses. One more big inhale here. Exhale, sink a little lower. And inhale, sweeping your hand in front. We'll go one more on each side, linking our breath to our movement now. Big inhale, extend your spine. Exhale, soften into that side body. Inhale, sweep your hand in front of you, planting the left hand. Right arm comes up and over on the exhale. Inhale, extending the spine and the crown of the head away from the tailbone. Exhale, sink into that bend. And inhale, come back up to center. Pausing here for a moment. Let's inhale and open our arms out to the side. And then exhale, bringing left arm under right for a nice side arm shoulder stretch. Breathing here, really feeling your skin stretching over your shoulder blades. Continue to sit up nice and tall. And let your shoulders relax down your back. Inhale, open up your hands. Exhale, bringing your right arm underneath now as we stretch out the left shoulder. Hug your belly button in toward your spine here to really support yourself and lift away from your pelvic floor. Inhale, open your arms once more, and exhale, place them back down on the earth. Walking your tented fingertips behind you now, come down to your palms and heel your shoulder blades toward one another so you're opening your heart. Maybe you even let your head come back a little bit, lifting your chin to the sky. And if this is enough, you can stay here. Otherwise, on your inhalation, you can start to lift your hips, opening the hips up toward the front of the room. Keep breathing slow and steady here. One more breath in. And exhale, placing your hips back down, bringing yourself back up. And we'll just switch the stance of your legs, bringing the opposite foot in front. And we'll do that same stretch one more time. So bringing your tented fingertips out to the side and then walking them behind you, coming onto your palms. Fingers can be pointing towards you or away, whatever is more comfortable. And inhale, really bringing those shoulder blades to touch, opening your heart, maybe allowing your head to fall back. And lifting your hips if you want a bit of a hip opener here. One more inhalation. And exhale, come back down to seated. And we'll start to roll over our knees and move into a tabletop position. So coming onto all fours here. Making sure your hands are stacked right underneath your shoulders and your knees are right under the hips. The tops of our feet are down. And we'll do some gentle cat-cows. So inhale, drop the belly, lift the chin high to the sky. And exhale, rounding the spine, tucking the chin to chest, pushing away from the mat with your hands. Belly button coming toward the spine. Inhale to cow. Peeling your heart through. Exhale to cat. Curving your spine and bringing everything inward. Do 3 more of those on your own breath cycle, linking your body movements with the breath. And bringing any gentle movement that feels good into it. Maybe you do some hip circles or look over one shoulder and then the other. Pausing any place you find that needs a little bit of extra work here. One more breath here and start to find some stillness. Feeling your tailbone moving toward the back of the room out behind you. Crown of your head shining forward. So your spine and your neck are nice and long here, making one long line. And on your next inhalation, step your right leg back behind you, keeping your toes on the mat for a moment. Maybe you rock front and back for a minute to just stretch out that calf muscle. And you can stay here, or you can begin to float that right leg, bringing the foot off the mat. And then check on your hips. So check that your hips are still level. Dial all of your toes down toward the mat. So your hip is closed here. And really engage the low belly. Then you can stay here, or you can extend your left arm out in front of you. Thumb is up, pinky down, as if you could shake someone's hand. Take a big breath in and extend. And then exhale, bring your elbow to your knee, bringing everything inward. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. And exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. And maybe you bend that right leg up and reach back and see if your foot is available to catch in your hands. And if not, just keep your hand reaching toward your foot. And if it is, maybe you hold onto your foot and begin to lift up and out of that right shoulder for a nice hip and heart opener here. Find something that's not moving to look at to steady your balance. One more breath in, and exhale, nice and gentle, release back down to the mat. Go ahead and move through a round of cat-cow, dropping the belly on your inhale. And then exhale, curving the spine. Just wiping the slate clean here for a moment before we go to the other side. And finding some stillness again. Begin to stretch your left leg back behind you. Just rocking back and forth on the ball of the foot here, opening up that left calf now. Maybe do a couple ankle rolls. And when you feel ready, you can either stay here or you can begin to float the left leg now. Engage the low belly, keeping the hips squared. Dial your toes down toward the mat, zipping everything up into your midline. And you can stay here, or you can extend that right arm out in front of you. Again, just like you could reach out and shake someone's hand. Big inhale, stretching out in both directions. And exhale, elbow comes to knee, bringing everything inward. Inhale, extending. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. And inhale, extend. Bending that left knee now, maybe reaching back with the right hand to see if the foot is available. And if it is, pushing the foot into the hand and rising up. Don't collapse on that left shoulder. Heart is open here. We're getting a nice stretch in the front of the thigh and the hip flexors. One more big breath in. And exhale, gently releasing down. Bring your big toes to touch and allow your knees to come nice and wide, sitting back toward your heels, coming into an extended child's pose. You can bring a blanket under your heels between your leg, if that's comfortable, or a block or a pillow. You can catch your forehead or your chest, or you can bring your forehead right to the earth. Pausing here for a few breaths, knowing that our child's pose is here to support us, and anytime we need to reset in this practice, you can always come here and pause for a moment. One big inhalation into your back body here, really feeling your back rising. And exhale, sinking into the pose. And on your next inhale, coming back up to tabletop. Walking your knees back just a little bit. We're gonna move into puppy pose, so nice heart opener here. So start to walk your hands in front of you. And again, if this gets to be too much, you can bring a block or a pillow under your chest to catch you here. We want our hips to remain right over our knees. And your goal is to bring your chest and your heart down toward your mat. Bringing your forehead back down to the earth. Getting a nice shoulder opener here. So feeling your collarbone open up and expand. Hips are rising high toward the sky. Really opening these shoulders in surrender, opening our heart to the earth. Notice what emotions and sensations are coming up for you. And I wanted to share that I pulled two cards for tonight's practice. The Nine of Pentacles and the Sun of Cups in reverse. So keep breathing into this pose. And if you need to reset, listen to your body and reset. These two cards are really encouraging us to go inward to find our grounding and our personal power, and to allow for that self-study. that maybe we've been pushing away a little bit, that maybe isn't always the most comfortable feeling. On your next inhale, you can start to crawl your hands forward, coming all the way down onto your belly. And we'll settle here for just a moment. Maybe you make a little pillow with your hands by placing one hand on top of the other and bringing your cheeks down, your cheek down to one side. Bend your knees and just windshield wiper your legs back and forth a little bit to open up the lower back. Keep your belly engaged while you're doing this. And releasing your legs back down. Plant your hands right underneath your shoulders. And we'll inhale, peel your heart off the mat here, coming into a baby cobra. Our gaze remains forward, the legs are engaged. And exhale back down to the mat. Inhale, baby cobra. And exhale, release back down. One more time, inhale, rising up. And exhale, release. And now pushing up through tabletop. Begin to tuck your toes. Lifting your hips high, come into a downward facing dog. Keep your knees as bent as you need to here. Really spread through your fingers, pushing into all 10 fingers and fingertips. And pedal out your dog, so find some gentle movement that feels good tonight. Maybe moving into one heel and then the other. Keep bringing your chest toward your thighs. And relax your head down. Releasing the neck. Releasing the shoulders, allowing them to glide down the back. And then slowly start to crawl your hands to meet your feet. Bending your knees generously. Come into a forward fold here. And just let gravity do the work. So maybe you sway side to side a little bit. Maybe you even grab opposite elbows and come into a ragdoll pose. Allowing your belly to rest on your thighs here. Maybe shake your head no. Releasing any blocks that aren't working for you right now. Then shaking your head yes. Opening up to your self-study, opening up to vulnerability, opening up to the things that bring you joy and excitement in life. And if your hands are holding your elbows, release them gently and start to curl your way up to standing. And we'll find ourselves in a mountain pose here. I'm gonna face you guys. So our feet can either be together touching or hips width distance. Feeling your legs engaged here. Shine your palms toward the front of your mat. Drop your shoulders down your back here. Feel your heart right over your hips and your head right over your heart. Nice long spine. We'll inhale, bend the knees gently as we scoop the sky up. Palms kiss overhead. And exhale, hands come to our heart. Inhale, arms rise. And exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, arms rise. And exhale, move into a forward fold. Hinge at the hips here, keeping that nice flat back. Hands come down on either side of the feet. Inhale, lift up halfway to a nice flat back, keeping a little bend in the knees. Hands can come to our shins or our knees or even our thighs. Breathing here for a moment. Big inhale. And exhale, let it all go. Come into your forward fold. Now begin to crawl your hands back out again, coming into a high plank for just a moment. And then releasing down all the way to the mat. Inhale, baby cobra, lifting your heart up off the mat, shoulder blades come to kiss. And exhale, lowering down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, rise once more. And this time we'll drop the elbows where the hands were, coming into a Sphinx pose. Open your hands here. And start to pull your hands towards you to help open your heart. Continue dropping your shoulder blades down your back and toward one another. And breathe. Think about where in your life are you in need of a little bit of self-study. So our niyama for self-study is called Svadhyaya. And I wanted to read to you just a little bit about it. Svadhyaya invites us into the depths of self-inquiry. We are wrapped in layers and layers of conditioning, thoughts, emotions, and experiences that hide our deepest selves. Our true identity may be lost behind a cloud of trauma, fears, judgments, desire, gender, race, or religion. This niyama calls us to ask ourselves, who am I really? And to seek the answer over and over again. Only when we can be open to who we are, including our flaws, can we do the same with others. Opening our hearts to all that is, nurturing a deep sense of acceptance toward ourselves and others, offers us the ability to develop compassion and empathy. This process yields deep and unending personal growth. May we never stop learning. So that's the description of that niyama from my Breathe for Change manual from my yoga teacher training. So we're still in our Sphinx pose here. Feel yourself lowering back down to the earth. Make that little pillow with your hands once more. Nurturing yourself. Maybe this time you bring your opposite cheek to your hands. And we'll windshield wiper the legs one more time. Bringing your legs back down, plant your hands, push yourself up through your tabletop, tuck your toes, and move into your down dog one more time, pedaling it out. Bending the knees deeply for a moment, and then start to drop your heels toward the mat, straightening the knees out. And think about if someone was to tuck their hand right into your hip creases and pull you up toward the ceiling, bringing your tailbone nice and high to the sky. That's the sensation you really want here. Finding some stillness. Once more, start to crawl your hands back to your feet, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root down through your heels and then rise all the way up. Arms come overhead, palms kiss. Maybe there's even a little mini back bend here. And exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Walk your hands out, come back into a high plank. And then once more, lower all the way down to the belly. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, baby cobra, or maybe you push up into a more full expression. Our hearts are pretty open now. And exhale, lower. Inhale, rising up. And exhale, lower. This time, bring your left arm, your left forearm down to cross in front of you. So your left elbow is right underneath your shoulder, and your arm is coming out perpendicular to your body here. Now, there might be a tendency to dip down into that left shoulder, but lift yourself up out of the shoulder here. Kind of like we did in our cat-cow pose, we're going to bend the right knee and start to reach back with the right hand, seeing if the foot is available. And if it is, maybe we start to bring the foot toward the hip. And you can inhale and lift your right elbow up toward the sky, pushing the right foot down toward the mat. This is a deep hip flexor opener. So be gentle with yourself here. Keep sinking that right hip into the mat as you're pushing the right foot toward the mat. And try to release the glute here. Notice your breath. One more breath in and start to release. Coming down for a moment. Bringing your right arm to connect with the left. Pausing here for a second before we go to the other side. Now really planting that right arm. Making sure you're lifted up out of the right shoulder here. Starting to bend the left leg now. Reaching back with the left arm, see if that foot is available. And if it is, maybe we start to draw the left shoulder up toward the sky, pushing the foot down toward the mat. Notice if your breathing becomes shallow, and back off a little bit if it has. One more breath in, and exhale, release. Plant your hands right underneath your shoulders, push up through your tabletop, and then sit back into a child's pose here. Opening the hamstrings, allowing everything to settle and come inward. Breathe deeply into your back body. Long exhales, feeling your body falling and settling. One more breath in your child's pose. And in your next inhalation, pushing up to a tabletop. Tuck your toes and come into one last down dog. Lifting your hips high. Pedaling out your dog if you need to. And then finding some stillness here. And on your next inhale, walk those hands back to your feet one more time. Forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Nice flat back here. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, palms come to your heart. And maybe close your eyes for a moment here. And think about what is one part of yourself, maybe your inner child, maybe your stubborn side, that you'd like to study a little bit more in the next day, week, month, year, whatever it may be. Maybe it's just studying your emotions. Maybe it's studying your impulses or your reactions. Where can you become the observer? On your next inhalation, we'll flutter open the eyes if they were closed. We'll scoop the sky, arms rise. And exhale, swan dive forward, opening your hands up, hinging at the hips, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, lifting up halfway. Exhale, forward fold, crawling the hands out, coming into a plank. And then drop your left knee, bringing your right leg down, your right foot down at an angle. And start to lift your right arm up, coming into a supported side plank here. Breathing. Finding stillness and stability within this pose. One more big breath in. And exhale, bring your right arm back down to the earth. Bringing your knee back down so you're in a tabletop position. And then kicking your left foot out, bringing it down at an angle. Raising your left arm up to the sky, coming into this supported side plank. Keep your hand, your left hand, fingers nice and open. Your palm is shining forward. See if you can stack your shoulders. And engage your belly, drawing everything in towards your midline. One more breath in. And exhale, release back down. Bringing your big toes to touch. Come back into that child's pose once more. On your next inhalation, as if there were a paintbrush attached to your nose, start to paint a line on your mat with your nose, moving all the way to the front of your mat, coming back onto your belly. Inhale, baby cobra, and exhale, lowering all the way down. And then we're just gonna roll over onto the left side. So maybe you bend your left knee a little bit, coming onto the left elbow, bringing your left hand up to your head to support you. Your right arm can come out in front of you. Nothing fancy, just like, you were saying to someone, paint me like one of your French girls, And we'll do a little bit of hip work here. So to start, we can just float the right leg and extend it out, engaging the hip, engaging the side belly here. Holding, maybe you do some little pulses here if you're trying to work those muffin tops like I am. You got this. 3, 2, 1. Nice work. And now step your right foot over the left, seeing if you can straighten the left leg now. And maybe you lift your right arm and start to push the right knee away from you. So your right knee is bent. It's right over your ankle though at a nice 90-degree angle. And notice, like I can tell my shoulders are getting a little bit tight. So notice if you're starting to tighten anywhere and see if you can consciously soften. Maybe you can release your jaw. Maybe you close your eyes. Taking some deep breaths. Let that whole left side body really melt into the mat here. One more breath in. And then exhale, releasing your hand, bringing your right foot back down. Come to roll onto your back. And we'll take it to the other side. I'm just switching sides so my back is not to you. So now we'll roll onto the right side, supporting the head now with the right hand. Left hand comes down in front of us. Right leg is a little bit bent. And we'll extend the left leg out, flex the foot here, allow it to hover. Keep engaging the low belly, really hugging in the low ribs toward the spine. And maybe you start to do some little pulsing here. See if you can be really conscious of where you're feeling this. Are you feeling it only in the hip? Maybe you're feeling it mostly in the belly. Bring awareness to that. 3, 2, 1, nice work. And then we'll start to straighten that right leg and step the left foot over the right, bringing it up, coming to that 90-degree angle, and the left hand comes up to push the left knee away from us. Continue to lift your shoulders away from your ears. Feeling your whole right side body melting into the mat. One more breath in. And exhale, release, rolling onto your back. And we'll bring the knees into the chest here. Maybe giving yourself a little rock side to side. Or drawing some circles on the ceiling with your knees to release that low spine. And our last couple poses are going to be some really deep opening poses for our hips and our low back. So just take it easy with these and make sure you grab a pillow or a blanket or something to support you if you need to. So we'll extend our legs long again. And bring your hands to interlace underneath your head, allowing your shoulders to fall open. And if you have tight shoulders, this can even be a little bit intense. So if this is too much, you could bring your shoulders, your arms to a cactus or out to a T at your side. But if you can, allow your hands to come underneath your head. And then start to walk your legs, keeping your hips exactly where they are. Start to walk your legs over to the left side of the mat And then start to move your upper body over to the left side of the mat as well. This pose, very fitting, is called vinyasa, or like little bananas. So if this is not enough for you, you can cross your right leg on top of your left here and keep walking those legs over to the left, but you really want your hips to be an anchor place here. So it might not feel like much at first, but I'll invite you to close your eyes here for a moment and just really settle into this pose. And again, notice that self-study. Where am I still holding on? Where am I bringing in stress? Where am I straining or tightening? Where can I let go? So in yin yoga, we really practice these three main tenets of the yin practice. They're called the tattva. And that's the principal nature of yin yoga. So the first tattva is to come into a pose to an appropriate depth. So finding your edge and being honest with yourself, that's where this self-study comes in. Where is my edge here? What cues is my body giving me to let me know that I've gone far enough, or maybe that I've gone too far? Begin to walk your legs back to center and extend your arms long overhead, having a nice full body stretch here. Maybe you move from one side to the other a little bit before taking it to the other side. So again, now we'll interlace the fingers behind the head. Maybe you try to interlace your fingers in a different way. Switch it up a little bit here. It's very good for our brain. And then begin to walk the legs over to the right side of the mat. Maybe they even come off the mat. And maybe your left leg crosses on top of the right. And then we can begin to walk the upper body now over to the right as well, making sure the hips stay anchored in the middle of the mat. Notice the condensing that's happening in your right side body and the stretching and expanding that's happening on the left side of your body. And our second tattva now is to resolve to remain still. So how can you meet your edge and then find your stillness here? And Bernie Clark, the author of Yin Yoga, Philosophy and Practice, this book that I've been reading, talks about the three kinds of stillness that we seek when we're practicing Yin Yoga. The first is stillness of the body, like a majestic mountain. He says, the body becomes as still as a great mountain, unaffected by the winds and dramas swirling around it. Clouds come and go, rains pelt, and snows melt, but the mountain remains. Only if we keep the muscles very quiet can we allow the deep effect of a stretch to sink into the joints. And our next type of stillness is stillness of the breath, like a calm mountain lake. Like the surface of a mountain lake, unruffled by wayward breezes, the breath is calm. Calm breathing is regular and even, slow, natural, and unforced. Begin to uncross your left leg, walking your legs back to center, stretching your arms out above your head again. Nice big full body stretch. And then one more time, we'll hug the knees into the chest. And maybe you stay here, or maybe you grab the shins, starting to open up the hips, allowing the knees to open from one side to the other. Or maybe you come into a full happy baby, reaching for the inside or the outside of the feet. Feeling your tailbone moving toward your mat. Extending the spine long once more. Maybe you move around a little bit at first to open up this happy baby, to see where you need your work. Maybe it's lengthening one leg and then lengthening the other. But I'll encourage you once more in this, our last pose of the evening before our Shavasana, to find a little bit of stillness. So I can talk to you about the last type of stillness, which is our stillness of the mind. Hopefully this will help as we move toward our Shavasana. So Clark says that the mind and breath are like two fish in a school. When one moves, the other moves. If our mind is agitated, our breath is short and choppy. Likewise, if breath is short and choppy, the mind becomes agitated. However, if we slow the breath down and breathe more evenly, the mind also slows down. The sky is always with us. Clouds may block our view, but we know with certainty that behind the clouds, the deep blue sky remains. The sky is a metaphor for our true nature. We rarely see who or what we are because so many thoughts and distractions prevent us from seeing clearly what is really there. The vision of our true nature is possible only when the clouds of thought have drifted away. Stillness of the mind is required for this clarity. Starting to release your grip on either your knees or your feet. Finding any final pose you might need before your Shavasana. Maybe you get a sip of water or some socks or a sweatshirt to get ready for a little bit more stillness. When you feel ready, you can stretch your legs out long. Allow your arms to fall to either side. Closing your eyes, really settling into this space. Letting go of any special control you had over your breath. And I will be offering a little bit of Reiki as you stay in your Shavasana. Starting to bring the thought of movement into your mind, deciding where you want it to start and move from. Maybe you just take a deep breath. Or maybe you do a nice full body stretch. Or you could begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you feel ready, choose a side to roll over onto, pausing there for a moment to thank yourself for committing this time for your self-care, just for you. Give yourself some gratitude for showing up. And once you feel ready again, making your way back up to a seated position, your eyes can be closed or your gaze can be soft, and I'll meet you with my hands at my heart. And we'll take one collective breath to just seal our practice. So nice big inhale through the nose. And exhale, sigh it out through the mouth. Our thumb knuckles come to third eye. Thank you for trusting me to guide your practice tonight. I really enjoyed spending this time with all of you, and I hope you'll continue to practice your self-study and allow yourself to be vulnerable during this time. Namaste. Nice work, everybody.